I'm glad you found this video. This is about becoming, or the story of being epistemologically self-aware. Now that's a big word. What the heck does that mean? Well, buckle up, my friend. This is a great story, and it's going to be a game changer for you. It's a story about two men you've never met, but they changed the world. This story will permanently change how you think about a lot of things. So our protagonist is our fearless leader who was a high school dropout. He had no formal education, and he had to become an entrepreneur and fund all of his research. To make matters worse, after his great accomplishments, no one believed him and his partner. They had pictures, newspaper articles, eyewitnesses, and crickets. Nothing. They discovered something so huge it was going to forever change the world. They were frustrated, but they didn't give up. They worked even harder. They spent every penny they had to build something even better and more impressive. Their friends, their family, their community, they were all blown away. The rest of the world wouldn't give them the time of day right after they invented this beautiful machine. And the experts at the time, they got all of the funding and the accolades. Now, what was interesting is the experts had the charts, the graphs, the engineering drawings. They had everything but success. They had multiple failures, but the world saw them as the experts. The experts could not get their idea to work well. Then, these kids from podunk little town America, one being a high school dropout, revolutionize this technology. Now, the experts on the other side, they ran the Smithsonian, for crying out loud. And if they couldn't do what was going to be done, no one could. So these two brothers devised a splendid plan. They would perfect their product. They would get it down to a science, and then they would hit the road. One would go to France, and the other would go to Washington, D.C. This story is about incredible leadership, confidence, personal growth, self-awareness, lessons in communication, and servant leadership, and great generosity. Most importantly, it's about becoming epistemologically self-aware. Now let's talk about that word for a minute and why it's so crucial. I'm sitting there, I'm sipping coffee, and I just gave the most beautiful diatribe to my mentor, sponsor, coach, guide, spiritual advisor, and he looked at me with one of those facial expressions like, Jim, you're kind of missing the boat here. He looked at me and he says, Jim, are you epistemologically self-aware? Epistemologically self-aware. Epistemologically self-aware. Epistemologically self-aware. I looked across the table and I said, yes, I believe I am. But what does that mean? He basically said to me, Jim, how do you know what you know? See, that word is the study of knowledge, how we came to our beliefs. Where's my philosophy coming from? So pretend your brain is a library and you have some books in your brain that might be a little outdated or could be a little bit incorrect, but your personal philosophy and your worldview come from this information of your library. So how do you know what you know? Well, let's go back to the story. The two brothers are on the train, so frustrated and upset. They had spent everything that they had. They had spent years working on this. And what they did was they came up with a resolve to quit. It was not that their machine had performed so poorly, or that so much still remained to be solved, but that so many of their long established, supposedly reliable calculations and tables prepared by the likes of Lilienthal, Langley, and Chanute, data the brothers had taken as gospel, had been proven wrong and could no longer be trusted. These esteemed authorities had only been guessing, groping in the dark. The acceptable tables, in a word, worthless. Orville recalled his brother Wilbur was so low that he declared not in 1,000 years would man ever fly. Now, I don't know about you, but sometimes your heroes or things that you've taken as gospel to be the truth, when you actually put them into application and you find out this is not true at all, it can be devastating. It can be heartbroken. You probably want to hear the rest of the story, and I want to tell you the rest of the story. But here's what I need from you. I need a little bit of help. I'm trying to build this YouTube channel, and I need you to like this video, subscribe, and ring the bell. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to prepare this story and give it to you like no other story you've ever heard before. If you want to jumpstart, the book is by David McCullough. It's called The Wright Brothers. I've read it a couple times. You will love it. But if you don't want to buy the book and read it, like and subscribe, and I'm going to finish up this story. Thanks. Until next time, I'll see you then.